Writing a One Punch Man workout was always going to be a little different from writing other workouts inspired by fictional characters. The obvious reason for this is that we already know Saitama's entire training. His workout infamously consists of 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and 10 kilometers of running. The joke is that this simple routine was able to get him to the point where he could jump from the moon to the earth and punch giant meteorites into dust. It's just goofy fun. So what more is there to say? First, I want to address this workout as it's written, to see what merits it actually has. Secondly, I want to create a revised version that will offer real benefits, and it turns out that this workout, even as written, may be more effective than you would think. The first thing to address is that Saitama's program is pretty incomplete for most purposes. Is that one set of 100 push-ups, or is it 10 sets of 10? What order are we completing these in? And where is the progressive overload here? What happens when 100 push-ups becomes really easy? The One Punch Man workout is also a little imbalanced. There are no pulling movements whatsoever, let alone twisting or extension. And you're likely to find that 100 sit-ups is a lot easier than 100 push-ups, and much easier than a 10 km run. Going that far every single day is going to either take a considerable amount of time or be quite hard on the old joints. Still, there are ways around this, and there are mitigating factors. So let's take a look at the good stuff for a moment. I recently posted an article over at thebioneer.com called The Surprising Benefits of Doing 100 Push-Ups a Day or More. I'll be repeating some of that here, but check it out if you want some more background. I'm assuming here that what Saitama actually meant was that he would complete a single set of 100 push-ups, and that this should be tough. Doing this has surprising benefits. Firstly, if you're going to failure or close to failure, then you'll be recruiting larger, faster twitch muscle fibers, even with this relatively low amount of weight. That's because all the slow twitch muscle fibers will fatigue and give up, leaving only the more powerful motor units to keep you going. This in turn means you can develop strength through high rep calisthenics, despite what you may think. In short, your 91st rep of your 100 rep max feels and acts similar to lifting 91% of your 1 rep max. Not exactly the same, mind, but it will have many of the same benefits. I took a 10-month hiatus from bench press during the current pandemic and returned for the first time last week. I decided to ease myself back into it, but I was pretty comfortable performing 5 reps of 125 kilograms, and that was with incomplete recovery from my previous set, because that's how I roll. Point is, high rep push-ups and some calisthenics variations were enough to let me maintain most of my strength. Better yet is that this type of training builds strength endurance. This is something I've mentioned in the past, but I believe it is severely overlooked. Point is, it's not all that useful being able to lift something really heavy just once. Far more useful is being able to lift something heavy lots of times, or hold it in place for a long time. I don't get why more people don't focus on this aspect of their performance, and it's something I think CrossFit has gotten very right. The anecdote I always come back to is Tom Platz, who would do 100 plus reps on the leg press every single day to build his massive legs. He could eventually perform 100 reps of squats with 225 pounds on his back. That's extremely insane, and to me it's one of the most exciting examples of an alternative approach to training, far more impressive than a single extremely heavy squat. Just give it a go if you aren't already impressed with this. Of course, this method did involve progressive overload, unlike the One Punch Man approach, but the point is that he was using high reps to failure, or close, to get there. That's what 100 push-ups or air squats will be for most people. And doing all those squats isn't that far removed from the kind of training used by the Great Gamma or Mike Tyson to build massive powerful legs either. Check out my Bane training video for more on that. This strength endurance comes with a number of other unique adaptations. What's really interesting is that this might improve blood supply to the muscles. This occurs in part through angiogenesis or capillarization, the formation of new tiny blood vessels that both carry blood to the muscles and also take waste products away from them, such as the hydrogen ions that cause muscle burn and fatigue. The result is not only greater energy supply during a set, but also more efficient removal of waste, which in turn helps to go for longer. This is amazing for preventing injuries too, because you'll be providing the tendons with greater blood supply. It also means more recovery between workouts because you're getting more blood to the muscles, helping you to handle the repetitive grind of doing anything daily like this. So the high rep stuff is good, but I feel that 100 sit-ups is a little out of place, and we really need something for pulling in there. I'd recommend using bodyweight rows to balance out with the push-ups. Why? Because the row more closely matches the push-up, both in terms of the number of reps you can do and in terms of the biomechanics. One of the great surprising benefits of push-up training like this is that if you're doing them correctly, by not allowing your waist to sag to the ground, then you'll also be strengthening your core for greater performance. It's like moving plank, especially at these higher rep ranges. The bodyweight row is perfect for offering the same stability in the opposite direction, anti-extension. That's because you now need to prevent your buttocks from touching the ground. I've talked about this in much more depth in a very recent video, so make sure you check out that if you haven't seen it already. And if it's punching we want, then we also need to train the transverse plane, the body's ability to twist on the spot. That's why I'd recommend swapping the sit-up for at least bicycle crunches, or better yet, alternating V-ups, returning to the hollow body position between each rep. Adding some training for the obliques this way not only makes sense for a one-punch-man workout, but also provides a more complete midsection development. Many people will find that performing sets of 100 reps is tough on all of these exercises. If that goes for you, then simply aim to complete the sets in as little time as possible. That means you'll be aiming to keep the rest time between sets as small as you can. This results in an incomplete recovery, turning it into a form of metabolic conditioning. In short, it still helps you to get better at removing metabolites and keeps your heart rate up. It might take you an hour to do 100 push-ups the first day, but in a few months, you'll be bashing out sets of 100 in under a minute. The adaptations here come fast. If you can't do a single push-up or squat, then you can make the movement easier. You can perform squat pulses, shout out to the awesome Jax Blade who covered this topic in his Saitama video, or you can use push-ups on your knees. Complete as many reps using proper form as you can and then drop immediately to the easier variation. This is called a mechanical drop set, and I'm all about that. And if you're facing the other problem and you find that this is all too easy, then you can use the same strategy in reverse. Do explosive push-ups or weighted push-ups, then drop to the normal variation. Remember, the benefits of doing high rep calisthenics come partly from going to or near failure. Those not interested in performing the One Punch Man workout, but keen to get the benefits, can try using long drop sets in their training, or incorporating flush sets. A flush set means that you might end your chest workout with 100 reps on the chest press, which is a fantastic way to create an immense burn while also actually enhancing recovery. But we can't talk about Saitama's training without addressing the running portion. As I mentioned, the 10 km run is a little out of place in this equation, given that it's a lot harder when performed daily. Or at least it is if you go fast. Take it much slower, by which I mean maybe running it in 1 hour and 30 minutes or even longer, and it shouldn't be too hard on the bones and joints, nor should it result in too much burnout. This is a big mistake that a lot of people make with their cardio, throwing in junk miles at something just below their anaerobic threshold and wearing themselves down over time. In his book Beyond Training, Ben Greenfield discusses how this can do more harm than good. The irony is that humans are meant to run long distances. Some theories suggest that this is the main way we would have survived in the wild, and indigenous tribes like the Tarahumara seem to support that notion. Long-time viewers know that these are the guys who run up to 435 miles over 2 days. The difference is that they would run those distances very slowly, just as I described. Running is not just about cardio performance, it's about form and muscle tone. Don't go as fast as you physically can to begin with, just enjoy it and aim to complete the distance in any time. You can even walk, and this will actually enhance recovery by improving circulation, not to mention the obvious calorie burn benefits. That said, if this is taking you all day, then I'm sure no one will judge you for sticking to 5 km. And as you do run, focus on your form, relax the shoulders, keep the joints stacked, ideally run in minimal footwear and use a 4-foot stride. Keep the core tight and don't let yourself lean forwards or back too much. There are many more benefits you get from mindful, gentle running and walking. In fact, I made a series of guided runs and walks for a company called iFit. There I discuss these benefits and talk about how you can focus more on your form as you go. I'm showing clips from the trailer up on the screen right now. You can check that out if you're interested in this stuff, and there's a free month trial, I think. Being mindful of your form and maintaining this throughout your runs will make everything tighter and stronger, and it will help you to perform better when fatigued. If you feel pain in your feet, knees or back, then stop. Assess your form and come back to it. If you're looking for an alternative that will bring some of the same benefits, look for something like the 100 up. This movement involves jumping from one foot to another to improve your hip stability, as though running on the spot but bringing knees up high. This is also a great way to check your form and improve your form when fatigued. I'll make a video on this topic alone in future, but some claim it can completely transform your running game. G. Walter George, who invented the technique, apparently used it to go from an inexperienced runner to one of the best of his time. This was during the 1800s. So there you go, that's my take on why so many people have seen some pretty decent results from the One Punch Man workout. Switching to such high reps is a frightening prospect for bodybuilders and powerlifters used to sets of 12 and 4 respectively, but it brings its own rewards. Rewards that don't necessarily translate to bigger numbers in the gym, but which can be extremely beneficial in life and in competition, and can result in a pretty mean physique. I'm not saying do this instead, I'm just saying maybe consider those higher reps. The other really appealing thing about this type of training, of course, is just that it's so simple. If you've tried to follow complex training programs in the past and found yourself getting muddled and confused, then the idea of just picking 4 exercises and repeating them every single day is probably really appealing. And whilst any exercise regime that's that simple is going to leave some things out, this can be a great way for somebody new to training to get started and just to get into the habit of doing something daily, building good habits, and then they can build on that as they start to see their basic strength and conditioning improve. If you want to learn more about performing high rep calisthenics, then I actually have a free training program you can get from the link in the description. That's the Bodyweight Max Stimulus program. If you want something more in depth that covers every aspect of strength and performance, that improves strength, mobility, running speed, jump height, proprioception, brain function and more, then of course you can check out my full ebook and training program, Super Functional Training. That's on discount right now during the pandemic, and it explains all of this in much more detail. Finally, if you want to learn all about functional training and how it applies to your real life or sports and athletics, where it came from, then you can pre-order my physical book, Functional Training and Beyond. That will be released early next year, and it's available at a discounted price if you pre-order now. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and found it useful and interesting. If you did, then please consider leaving a like and sharing it around. That helps me out so much. Thank you so much for all your support this year. It's actually been a crazy year for the Bioneer. And I also hope you all have a fantastic Christmas or holiday season, and that 2021 is a better year for everyone. It can't be worse, right? Thanks a ton for watching, guys, and bye for now.